Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda.
And you're listening to
Girls Nerd Out. So it got the lowest rating of any Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon episode except for the final episode of Game of Thrones. And let me say why I think that is. Most people don't know all the backstory and the lore like me and Andrea do. Like, I mean, it you have to be a big fan to know all these things. Most people casually watch the show because they like it. It's just a show they enjoy. When you insert that something like that vision is attached to the prophecy they kept bringing up, but it's not even made clear that that's what it's attached to. I think it confused a lot of people. I think they were very confused at what it had to do with the Night King, the army of the dead, and what it had to do with Daenerys. So, and like you said, Rhaena is there. And it's like, well, why is Rhaena there? So I think it did two things. I think it confused a lot of people, and I think it took up time that could be spent getting into something else that would have been better for the actual story, which keeps getting kind of shoved to the background, that it's the Targaryen civil war based on misogyny. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree with that. And it just, I mean, it confused me that she was in there. So
yeah. And it, again, you know what I just thought of? The low rating could also be people that are angered that they brought that back up, because I've seen this a lot today. A lot of people say, well, the prophecy doesn't matter because Arya killed the Night King anyway. So the low rating could be a lot of Game of Thrones fans irritated that got put back in their face. I could see that. I could. And it makes sense, honestly, because
yeah,
we just don't want to think about that. It was awful. You can't fix it. So don't try to retcon it in the past and drag that mess into, like I told Andrea earlier, don't drag that mess into a different show, because the dance is so iconic. Joffrey is telling Marjorie about it on a very dark tour. And that is how Shireen teaches Davos how to read, is a book about the dance. So it's mentioned more than once in Game of Thrones, proving it's an iconic story that can stand on its own two legs. And by two legs, I mean that dragons have two legs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just say it was a big mistake. They should have just left that out. I mean, they could say vague things about how a Targaryen needs to sit the throne or something, but no further than that. That's it. So that's about as far on the soapbox as we're willing to go, because it just shouldn't have been put in there. It just confused people. So, and riled people up. That too. So there's
yep.
that.
So basically, it was a mistake to make it, and that's. But we can't change it. It's there, and nothing we can do about it.
Wait a minute, Andrea. Let me ask you this really quick. Let me ask you this.
Yep.
Do you think the vision in the final episode for the season, do you think that vision took away from the importance of the previous visions Daemon had?
Yes.
I agree.
Maybe not 100%, because he said that. Well, we'll get into it. I'll give it an explanation after, when we get to the scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon. But it does take away from it a little bit. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, because like it's so that vision's so weird and shocking. It almost makes you forget all the things that he's covered in the previous visions and all the growth of his character.
Yes.
So, all right, that's I just thought of that for some reason. But yeah.
Okay.
All right. So after vision,
now we go to Aemond and Helena. Helena's on the she's on the balcony and she's looking out, and Aemon is talking to her, and he says, "Hey, sister, we share the same blood, you and I." And he's like, "I know you don't want to hurt anybody, but he's like, I need you, And she doesn't want to hurt anybody. She's already said that. And then she eventually says to him that, I saw you kill our brother. I saw you, and he didn't believe that because he's like, well, he I don't know how he didn't believe her. I mean, he kept saying it was like treasonous for her to say that I could kill you for that. And she's just like, well, it doesn't change anything because I saw you kill Aegon. I'm going to see you die. Aegon's going to be the king of the wooden throne, which a lot of people are getting that mixed up online.
What are they
And
saying?
then they're saying that means he's sitting on Dragonstone's throne.
No, are
But
you serious?
that's not a wooden throne.
He's going to be in a wheelchair.
Yes. He doesn't ever
Are they
sit.
thinking that? I didn't know this. Andrea, are you serious?
I just saw that today. Yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Okay. The Dragonstone throne is rock.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like floored for a second. No,
Because he does go to Dragonstone, and we know what happens at Dragonstone, but he doesn't sit on any throne. He sits in a chair, a wheelchair. That's it. There's art of him not sitting on any throne ever again. Aegon will never sit on the throne, whether it's the Iron Throne or Dragonstone throne. He will never sit on that. So
he can't.
no. And then she says, "You die. You're swallowed up in the God's eye, never to be seen again." And I thought that was really powerful.
Oh yeah, because he knows her visions are real.
Yes, even though he didn't believe the whole "you saw me kill Aegon" or try to kill Aegon.
Yeah, that was some big, strong denial. But you know what I was thinking? You know how Aemon paid more attention to Helena than Aegon did?
Yeah.
When she said that to him, he knew. He knew she is right. She's right. Because the look on his face. Whew.
That's why he was like, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if he wasn't frightened before, which he already was, he's terrified now.
Oh yeah, he even had like tears in his eyes a little bit. It was very surreal, and I really liked the acting there for both of them.
I think maybe, I don't know if you agree with this, I think when she told him, you're going to die, I think that little tear up, I think that was the last of his humanity.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, 100%. And it's really not going to matter no matter what he chooses, his fate is sealed. So
what a great feeling to have. So he's probably just going to be more ruthless.
I liked that scene, but I wish that she didn't say how he was going to die, because that just kind of spoils it for people that haven't, I mean, obviously these people are all going to die anyway, because this is 300 or 200 years or 172 years before Game of Thrones. So obviously these people die at some point in their lives, but it spoils the actual death, like how he dies.
It does, which makes me wonder if they're going to change it.
Oh, I hope not. It's an epic battle. It's an epic battle.
It's an epic battle, but we have had someone tell Daemon and Aemon how they're going to die. So the chances of that going down the way it does in the books are slim, because they like shock.
Now we're at Harrenhal because Rhaenyra and Adam are going to Harrenhal, and we see Caraxes. Well, Caraxes can sense Syrax, like you said, and he's all excited because hello, it's his wife coming to. He hasn't seen his wife in how many months? Probably.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
And then she talks to him too. She says something to him, and he says something back, and it's like singing. It sounds like singing to me, and he's just so happy that she's there. I love that.
Oh my god! I saw, like, we haven't talked about it, but the episode got leaked, and I saw that scene, and I had to wait days for Andrea to see it, and I was so excited to talk to her about it because we didn't know that Caraxes could sense Cyrax. Either he heard her and they have like super hearing. I don't think it was out there because he was asleep. And she hasn't even made any noise yet. And he opens his eyes and he immediately turns his head. And it switches from his perspective to hers so that you can hear him sing to her and then you can hear her response back to him. And it's so beautiful, so incredibly beautiful. And I told Andrea that Caraxes was probably really excited. And then, like, his second thought is, hey, who's that with you? That's Sea Smoke. What? Excuse me? What have I missed? And why is he here? And when did he get a rider? Like, it just kills me. And I swear, Cyrax, like, I feel like she flies like a little higher and gets a little more like peppy whenever he's there because she's like, yeah, that's my man. That's my man.
It's so cute. And
Oh
then
God, I love it.
So my problem before Rhaenyra goes into Harrenhal is the fact that she should have brought Adam inside with her because she doesn't know what she's going to face. I know Simon Strong greets her, which is great, and he's like I didn't expect you to come, but it was concerning what she heard. So I would have expected the Queen to come. Honestly, I would have. But the fact that she didn't let Adam come in with her is weird to me. I know you said she should have had guards, but I don't know how else the guards would have gotten there. She should have brought some kind of weapon. Yes, I believe she should have, because you don't know what you're walking into, like you said.
Yeah.
Especially if Daemon's trying to usurp her, which is what the show has made it seem like most of the season. But also, she should have been wearing her crown, and she did not.
I agree. I think maybe she could have sent guards ahead because she'd obviously go faster. Something like that. Brought Adam with her. I feel like she would have had her crown on. And I feel like she would have had Cyrax closer because,
Yes.
like, she parks Cyrax, I mean, basically, and gets off and then meets Simon. And then there's like this huge staircase up to Harrenhal. I just feel like she would have had Cyrax closer.
I'm
So,
sorry, that's an awkward spot to be dropping down on, but Um, also, when she goes inside, I think Simon should have announced her. Everybody was just kind of, she walks in and everybody's just kind of looking at her. And like, I feel like they know who she is, but they're not saying anything.
agreed.
And it's so freaking weird. It's like such a weird scene. And I mean, it's ominous too, because she doesn't know what she's dealing with here. And
Mm-mm.
then it's really quiet. It's really good facial action from Rhaenyra. Very, very because she looked she didn't look scared, but she just kind of looked like, well, what the heck is all this,
Yeah.
And then Daemon comes, and that I really liked it. I liked seeing him. Well, before that, you see Cyrax go on top, and she
Mm-hmm.
is basically like, hey, this is the queen, you better listen to her, kind of attitude.
Well, there you go, Andrea. Somebody should have announced her. Somebody did, and it was Cyrax.
Yeah, and it's sad that it had to be her dragon, but I also feel like that's also how Rhaenyra is feeling. Like Rhaenyra, like they're like I, how we've been saying forever is that the dragons feel the
Mm-hmm.
writers' emotions. So I think Cyrex was definitely feeling how upset she was. Um, and
I think Cyrax felt that Rhaenyra was like, wait a minute, what am I walking into? This could be dangerous, and they're acting weird, and Cyrax is like, I got this.
Yes, and that's when Damon comes in, and I really liked the way he walked. It's a very Damon walk, like you've noticed.
Yeah.
And he didn't seem too cocky about it because he started talking to her, and um it was he was warning her about, well, before he warns her, he said, look, I've got like this army, and they all come to me, and she's like, well, or they all serve me, and she's like, she backs away and says, well, who do you serve? And he's just got this look on his face like, really? You're really gonna make me do it.
Yep, which is so reminiscent of a couple that's been together for a long time. Of like, real, for real, for real.
And then he warns her about like, hey, winter is coming, which is stupid that he said that. I hate that he said winter is coming because that's not his house words.
Mm-mm.
He could have warned her a different way. He could have said like there's something coming that's gonna end us all. And that's all he had to say. He didn't have to say winter is coming. And Rhaenyra is just like, you sound just like my father. Remember, and I could just think back to the episode in season 1, where he said that she sounded like Viserys, like they parallel each other, you know. Um, and then, but what I do like what he says is that the realm's only hope is a leader who can unite, and Viserys chose you as his heir. And he bends the knee and says she is the true queen. You know, she is Rhaenyra, the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, first of her name, all that kind of stuff. And I will serve you until death or the end of our story. And that's the fact that he says end of our story it killed me.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it because it's basically saying like whatever is after death. You know, like that's our story. Like it was beautiful. And the fact that he said it in front of everybody, loud for them to hear. I love that. I agree with you with the winter is coming. We did not need to hear winter is coming in High Valyrian. That scene between Rhaenyra and Daemon is, to me, what I got out of that was a couple that's been together for a long time and they both know that they don't want to be without the other. It's beyond that it's beyond the excitement and the newness. It is now like that's more to me more like soulmate type stuff.
Yes.
And that's
And
what I think people are sleeping on that for some reason, and I'm not. I loved it.
I loved every minute of it. The acting was really good. The writing for that scene was, besides the fact that, the men didn't bend the knee until Damon did, and, but I liked the writing of their scene together. And what else did I like? Oh, I was gonna say it kind of parallels the fact that he has left several times, and not just that time, but he's left. He's been exiled, all that kind of stuff, and he got married and all that stuff. But he still comes back to Rhaenyra, so I really like that.
Yeah, for Damon to say, I can't, I tried. I mean, it's Damon. Damon doesn't get attached to a lot of people, but when he does, he's very attached. I mean, that's just the way he is. He's an all or nothing kind of guy.
And I want to say I really liked his little speech, that little saying that he said to the men. He said, for every one of us who falls is 100 of them. There will be no mercy. We fight for our queen. I loved that.
That was great. That was the perfect thing to say.
And he gets them all excited, and he's just perfect for that.
Oh yeah, I liked it. Other than the winter is coming, but I really liked the interaction. I like that she stood back because she knew those men were giving her halfway stank eye, and so she wanted to make sure they knew what was up. And I like the scene, I do, and I really hope Cyrax then flew off and hung out with Caraxes.
Well, yes, and I just wanted to say this. I commented on a video about it, about that scene, and I said it just pisses me off that they didn't bend the knee until Damon did, and somebody's like, well, yeah, they're Damon's men, and I'm like, for her, he serves her. So, I mean, unless he was really going to usurp her, which this episode did not give me that thought process. Yes, I know that Sir Alfred said that they need a king, but Damon didn't say, yes, I'll usurp Rhaenyra in that episode. Like, he didn't say that. So,
Okay, I don't know where that could come from because he literally just had a vision that told him Rhaenyra needs to sit the Iron Throne, and he's completely committed to her. So I don't know where any of that could possibly come from.
People are just not getting stuff, I guess.
Well, I
Or they
think
just,
part of it is they're not getting it, and then part of it is I don't like that character, so I'm just gonna make something up that's not there.
yeah, well, Damon and Rhaenyra gets a lot of hate all the time. So, but after this, we see Alan and Corlys, and there's a lot that's talked about there in just such a short scene. But Corlys is basically saying like, "Hey, you know, the men of my ship are saying that that you're not engaging, you're really quiet, you're keeping to yourself." I mean, Alan is supposed to be his first mate, so the first mate has a lot of responsibility, and you know, I guess they're just not used to a non-talkative person, because he's like, "I'm just trying to help you, I'm warning you, like you know, just be happy," kind of situation. And he's like, "I didn't ask to lead, so like, yes, I'm a leader, but I didn't ask to be led." And then Corlys is like, "I'm just trying to help you." And then that kind of set off a whole like thing of, "Hey, you know, now you're paying attention to me, when you know you walked past me when I was growing up." Like, he had a horrible life. It sounded like he didn't
Mm,
have like a very good life. Like, I think he probably lost his mom when he was young, because he talked about grief as a boy.
mm.
um he talked about how he was hungry, well, not just him but his brother. And he said, "You walked past me with the sun and your heir." And then you know, he was picking out sweetmeats, and he had fur around his shoulders, and like, his son lived a better life than he did. And then now he's dead, his sister before him is dead, and then the heir that took his place, and now you remember I'm alive.
Man.
It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't know what his life was like until
No,
now. We didn't know. Whew.
I'm just assuming that his mom died when they were kids, because he said grief as a boy.
Yeah.
So
And I got the opinion that their mom was a good person. So, yeah, she must have passed, and then they were just struggling. Just it sounds awful and heartbreaking. So, I'm glad he said it. I really am. That was some great acting too.
oh, he made me cry. So now we're getting into um Alicent and Rhaenyra. So there was a scene where Alicent immediately after Alicent, immediately after the Aemon scene where he was trying to drag his sister out of the room, she goes to the Grand Maester and asks for passage. She wants passage to Dragonstone, so she's going to talk to Rhaenyra. And it's a very very interesting scene. I don't really think it does much, except for it shows that Alicent's a shitty person. Sorry, excuse my language, but
No, Allison's a shitty person.
yes. What I don't understand is, like, the very beginning of it is, I think she looks great. I like the blue that she's wearing. Um, but what I don't understand is how she's saying, like, because Rhaenyra is like, "Well, you started this," like, because Allison is like, "This was a mistake. I made a mistake." And she's like, "Well, it's too late. Like, we can't, you know, that you started this." And the arrogance of blaming me, when you would have been challenged regardless. I don't agree with that, because Rhaenyra had people that knew that she was the heir. There's people, more than half the realm fights for her. The show doesn't really show that, but more than half the realm fights for her. So to say that she would have been challenged, I don't agree.
Look, I'm going to make a parallel real quick. Okay, so yes, it took Damon for that army to bend the knee. But would they have bent the knee if they didn't like Rhaenyra? No, they wouldn't have been there.
No.
So, did I like that? No. But earlier on, we talked about the really cool scene with Jason Cregan, and a really good point was made. Would Torrhen Stark have bent the knee if he didn't believe that Aegon was the right one to lead? No. It's the same thing.
So what pisses me off is that in the book, yes, he gets her the army. But at the same time, in the show, he doesn't actually get her the army. If you really see the scenes, it's. I mean, yes, it's because of him that like he starts getting the army together, but he loses them because of what happened with the Blackwoods and the Brackens, and then a Tully comes in and saves the day. It's because of him. It's literally because of him. If it wasn't for him, Daemon would have completely lost everything. And so the show is making it seem like it's Daemon's army, but it's really not. I mean, they did this for Rhaenyra, for their queen. I mean, even the Oscar Tully says, we bend the knee for the queen, you know? So
I agree. And I think you make a really good point. The whole show, again, it's about misogyny. If Rhaenyra was a male, none of it would have ever happened. So I think by having the army not kneel until Daemon did, I think again they are missing the point. Which I'm really thankful that my best friend knows Fire and Blood as well as she does, because I wouldn't notice as much as I do if she didn't tell me. And she makes incredible points. Andrea knows this, and she knows the purpose. And when something waters it down, it's really sad. And I think that's why George has been irritable lately, is because you're missing the big point. It's because she's female. It's because she's female. Like, can we just please? It's because she's female. Yeah, there's a Night King, I guess, but that's not right now. Like, I don't want that lost. I'm with you on that because that's just so important.
so the fact that she says that nobody would challenge her, honestly, I mean, somebody would challenge her. I don't agree, because it's because of them that this all happened. All of it. They brought this on themselves. So she's backtracking, and I think that's annoying.
She is 1,000% backtracking. I don't like this whole thing that I'm seeing about Saint Alicent, because she she is not a good person and she is not a good mother. Just because, it's like we were talking about earlier, just because she has one child that is not just pure evil, that doesn't mean that. Okay, Helena is not a sweetheart because of anything Alicent did. Hell, Helena's probably sweet because Alicent ignored her.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm being serious. It probably helped her out. And it's just,
That's why I don't think Darren's going to be that bad, because he wasn't raised by her.
there you go. I don't like the forced, we have to see Rhaenyra and Alicent in the same scene. Like, Ryan Condal came out with a statement and said that they didn't keep records. So that's why there's no record of Alicent going to meet Rhaenyra. And me and Andrea were just laughing about it because Fire and Blood is that's a record.
That's such BS though, because I'm sorry, Allison would have never met Rhaenyra, not at any point or time. No. So even if the in Maesters, that's all they do is keep records. Like, the
Yeah,
hell?
that's part of their purpose.
There wasn't
Um,
even a rumor of them meeting. Not even a rumor. Not a friend of a friend, a cousin of a cousin, 12 people down the line heard this. There wasn't anything that said Rhaenyra and Alicent met on Dragonstone, and they never would have, because at this point they hate each other. I mean, really hate each other. So there would be no reason for them to meet, and they shouldn't be happy with each other to even kind of meet in the show. Like, it just is dumb. It's repetitive, and we've already met once in the show. We don't need to meet again. And apparently there might be more meetings, which is just crap.
yeah, that's the thing. We've had two weird forced meetings, and the chances that this is not going to happen in season 3 are slim. Like, it's going to happen again. I mean, it's
Well,
it's going to be cringe every time it happens, but Ryan Condal is more worried about the Rhaenyra Alicent ship than the actual story. So
There's nothing there. There is nothing there. It's been over for a while. Um, so what I don't understand, so Alicent is just a crap mom, right? Like she wants to take Helena out of the way, to be safe. Whatever. Okay, fine, she can do that. But she doesn't care about her other two sons, which I mean, I'm sorry, they are monsters. They really are. Especially
yeah.
Aegon. Not just Aegon. Sorry, Aemond. Aemond is acting like a monster right now. So basically what Alicent says in this scene is that, hey, Aemon's going to leave. He's going to join Crispy Cole. And then that leaves Helena being the queen, and she when you come to King's Landing in 3 days time, we're gonna Helena's gonna tell them to lay down their swords so you can come in, sit on the throne as a conqueror. But Rhaenyra's like, well, what about Aegon? I mean, Aegon's a broken man, right? Like he's nothing now. He's calling himself the realm's delight. So that means like he's got no penis. So he's nothing. And but
I'm sorry. Look, that scene that just in the realm's delight. Okay, I'm sorry, that just killed me. Go ahead.
So he's nothing. So Rhaenyra still has to kill her brother. She has to do that. She has to do that in front of every single person. She's going to have to make a public display of her killing her brother.
Or she
She
will
has to
always
execute
be
it.
questioned. Always.
Yep.
She will always be in danger, and so will her children, her family.
If he is
It
alive.
is, yep, it is what it is. She
Yep.
told no lies at all. And just because Alicent went on some nature retreat and I don't know what, just because she's finally being nice to Helena, this is not a change. She's still the same person.
No,
She just sold out 3 kids.
she just agreed to this. Yeah, she agreed to this. She agreed to Rhaenyra coming in and killing her sons. So
Look, and I'll tell you this, Andrea, the majority of the people I've seen talk about Alicent being a traitor are Team Green. Team Green. They are not pleased at all. So I find that interesting. I think it's just really telling. That's what I think.
it is. And so Rhaenyra is going to do what she's going to do, and Alicent is just going to do what she's going to do. I mean, she said she wanted Rhaenyra to come with her, and I just thought that was funny. I was like, you really thought.
That was odd. Like, what I don't understand about that, like, if we're just talking about them like just regular people, it's a very strange thought because Alicent goes from basically admitting that she's bitter because Rhaenyra had more choices than her to going straight into Alicent asking her if she wants to run away. You just said that she has more choices and she was able to live her life more like she wanted to. Why would she leave with you? It's giving Cole. Like, what? She's been with Daemon for a long time. The realm knows they're happy. They have children. Why are you asking her if she wants to leave with you?
Wouldn't make any sense.
No, it makes about as much sense as Cole saying, "Hey, do you want to go eat oranges and cinnamon?" Like, ugh.
And hey, she didn't hesitate either. She just was like, nope.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times. She hesitate. No, she didn't hesitate. She looked at her like she was nuts, but there was no hesitation. Y'all, look. I would admit this if it was true. Rhaenyra is not pining over Alicent. She's not
Ew.
at all. If she was, the scene with her and Daemon wouldn't have gone like it did.
Nope.
That's just some fan service that doesn't make sense, and that's all it is.
But I like the music that's being played after this because it's like the end of the episode, and they showed Ulf, Hugh, and and Adam getting armored up. I love all three of their armors, but especially Adam's. I don't know why his looks different than the other. Well, they all three look different, so it's interesting. Maybe it's just based on their style.
I
Um,
don't know. Maybe they got to pick what they liked, I guess.
it just looked really cool. And then we see the Hightower army with their sigils. And then Tessarion is flying past. That's a pretty blue dragon that you see in the sky. That is Darren Targaryen's dragon. We don't see Darren. We see somebody on the back of him, but he's not cast. On the back of she's a she dragon. Sorry. On the back of her. So.
And
Um,
that is Alicent's son that she forgot about.
We see a scene with Rhaena actually getting to see Sheep Stealer, and now Sheep Stealer is different looking. He is interesting looking, and if you want to go into that, you can, because I want them to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, thank you, Andrea, because God knows I've probably thought about it way more than most people, because that's what I notice is dragon things. Okay, so Sheep Stealer is a wild dragon, and that means never had a rider that we know of. The Sheep Stealer, Cannibal, and Grey Ghost, those are the three wild dragons, and there's sketchy record as to when they showed up. There's no concrete anything. They could have come from Valyria. They could have been an egg that hatched that was like, see ya. We don't really know. And that makes them really interesting. I was very, very, very interested to see how they would make Sheep Stealer look. And I like it. I do. She looks shocked. Rhaena comes upon him and he's having a snack, and her eyes near about leave her head because he looks pretty scary. He looks different than the other dragons. He has like his wing membranes end, and then there's like this long piece that comes out. It almost looks like a really thin feather or something. It's cool. I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool choice. But you look at him, and even though it's a very brief scene, when they show him from the side, it looks like he has spots, and he does look malnourished. And Andrea asked me, she was like, "Do you think like somebody burnt him or something?" And we were on the phone, and it just hit me because I've been trying to figure out why Jane Eyre has been so irritated and looked angry. And I know it's because she asked for a dragon and she got eggs and two babies, but I kept wondering why she didn't want anyone to know about Sheep Stealer.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute. She wanted a big dragon. There's a big dragon in the Vale. What I think Jane probably sent, I would assume, probably the Knights of the Vale to go see if anybody could capture the dragon. And apparently that didn't work, obviously.
No, because it had so many marks on it.
Exactly. And that's what makes me think that. So this dragon is doing her no good.
Yeah.
All this dragon is doing is eating sheep. So I believe that Jane has had the Knights of the Vale try to kill Sheep Stealer, and I think those are scars from a long period of time of arrows being shot at Sheep Stealer. And because I saw somebody online say Rhaenyra's got to take care of this baby because he's got mange. He looks rough. And why would he look rough? He's the only dragon in the Vale. It's not from fighting. He's not fighting other dragons. I fully believe that Jane Eyre has had her knights try to kill him because she couldn't use him and he's just eating sheep. So I also think that she's been probably putting the sheep in a location where he can't access them because he looks starved. So I'm just going to tell you this. If I'm right and we find out next season that Jane Eyre has had her knights try to kill Sheep Stealer, I will despise her. and I will rise up against her and take her out because how dare you? But I do know this: Rhaena is a kind soul, and I said this: if they were not going to have Nettles, I'm glad it's Rhaena. I am. Because Rhaena will appreciate Sheep Stealer in a way other people wouldn't, because she's waited so long for a dragon. And she's a very kind soul, very calm, which is also good if you're trying to bond with a wild dragon, I would assume. She'll take care of him. So I'm glad it's her.
Me too. And
Really.
yeah, I loved the sound of him, and I loved the way he reacted to seeing her. Like, what do you want? Take a picture, you know.
I know. And he screamed at her, but it wasn't god awful. It was more like a cornered animal. So I think Sheep Stealer just needs a lot of love. And you never know. I mean, Raina's very patient. So next season, if she does have part of Nettle's storyline, it may take a while for her to get close to him. So we'll have that. I hate that we have to wait so long, but I think Sheep Stealer is going to have a glow up. There's my little prediction.
Me too.
And I'm for it.
So after that, because I couldn't remember when we actually got to see that scene, so it kind of is mess. I was like, I don't want to forget that, because I don't have it in my notes. But we have after that, well, we have seeing the Winter Wolves cross the twins. I loved that. I mean, I know it was supposed to. Apparently, we were supposed to have Aegon Stark be there. So that was kind of disappointing that we didn't get to see Aegon Stark, but it still looked really cool. They played the Stark music.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we see the Lannisters. I didn't like seeing Jason Lannister again, but it is what it is. They're playing the Reigns of Castamere, and I liked that. They're heading towards Harrenhal. Harrenhal's in the distance. And then we see the Triarchy. Their fleet. All those ships are them, and it's gonna be insane to see. But I mean, I won't give any spoilers, but I can't. I mean, I don't want to see the Gullet because of a certain person's death, but it's still gonna be a cool scene. I hope, anyway.
I think it will be. I'm with you. I mean, there's multiple scenes that I'm not really looking forward to. I liked hearing the different songs. I do wonder why they omitted Cregan, though. I really wonder, because they went through a great deal to do that. They removed him with CGI. I'm very confused at that.
Is he gonna? Do we think he's gonna be like in a backup for DVD or something? Like, because that's kind of random to put him in a DVD deleted scene.
I mean, they went through the trouble of removing him from the scene, and the only thing I can come up with is that they want it to be, I guess, a bigger shock that he's with them. I guess, like maybe they're gonna have him do like a big reveal,
maybe,
or something. I don't know. It's an odd thing, so I'm not really sure about that. But Ryan Condal makes odd choices.
Yes, he does. So after that, we see Otto. You know, Otto's been kind of missing for several episodes. Nobody seems to know where he is, and nobody seems to care. I mean, I know Aemond wants him as his hand, so like, and nobody's heard from him, and it just reminds me of A Dance with Dragons when it's the epilogue, and the Kevin Lannister gets a note saying that winter is here. I think that's the note. He gets a message saying that winter is here, and it's snowing in King's Landing. And Cersei's like, so is that from Jaime? Like, she's the only one that seems to be worried about Jaime, because Jaime has not been seen for several months probably. So it's like that. It gives me that. Like, I guess nobody gives a crap about Otto.
Apparently not.
After that, we see Aegon and Larys hiding in what is that, a chicken? Or some kind of animal thing that they're leaving.
That I'm not really sure of.
Some kind of Bird was in there. Birds, I should say.
That's just funny to me for some reason. Now,
But
now I feel like we're getting into like the realm of insanity a little bit. So,
but he's fleeing the castle, so good luck to him and Laris.
yeah, he doesn't look happy.
No.
There's that. He looks miserable. He does not look like the realm's delight. How many episodes do you think they'll make it? And do you think it's going to be 3 seasons or 4 seasons?
It's gonna be 4 seasons. Oh, we're getting the God's Eye in season 3 too.
Oh
I
Lord.
believe we're getting the God's Eye in season 3.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that. I don't want to see how strong get killed either, but that's just me. Um, uh, I think it's gonna be 4 because there's the we have to do. There's still a lot to do. They could stretch it out. I mean, I know it's not that long of a story, but they have a lot of battles. They got the Battle of Tumbleton twice. They have Euron taking over Castle Rock. They have, or not Euron. Gosh dang it! I just said Euron. Dalton. We have Dalton taking over Castle Rock if we ever see him. He takes one of Tyland's uh girlfriends, or was it Jason's girlfriends, or like mistresses, or whatever they call her. um Jason's long and dead, so there's a lot that happens. They could make it into 4 seasons. George even said it could be 4 seasons.
As long as it's not 4 seasons, just so we can have more like scenes with Rhaenyra and Alicent.
Oh,
Um,
well,
um,
they have to have that one scene when, well, no, she already talked to her. She didn't. I was hoping if they were going to have this scene that she would say, hey, maybe Aegon can rule half the realm and you can rule the other, or we can bring the Great Council of 101 AC. She didn't mention any of those, so I guess I'm giving up on that scene. She didn't even try to compromise. She just was like, here,
no.
take the throne.
And that's really sad because like it's like the meteor parts are being like left out just so like the faux ships can be there. Ugh.
And I guess that kiss between Massaria and Rhaenyra doesn't matter anymore. Like, I don't know.
I think that was again just thrown in for some more shock, I guess.
That's because they're seen together. That the very brief scene, I didn't talk about it because it didn't really give anything for the story. But like there was nothing there. I was like, really? Okay,
Yeah, Masari is back in the background again.
that's so dumb.
It's like they brought her out from the back just to have that scene, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't need you anymore." Ugh. Do you want to rate?
I will give it. I did like this episode a lot. There was a lot of issues, sure, but I still liked it. So I'm going to give it a 6.5.
It's rough for me because like it's layered.
Yes,
Ugh.
I wish some
I
things were different.
cried. I cried the entire time Daenerys was on the screen. Even though
Oh
I
yeah.
knew it was coming, I cried anyway. I don't like the fact that they dug up that and they didn't even give the Vision the respect enough to have a decent looking Night King. The
Nope.
CGI was awful. It looks so cheap. I just don't want to think about season 8. I don't like it, have it shoved in my face. You can't fix it in the past, whatever. And I don't like the fact that it changed the story because the story, I mean, it's a good story. It doesn't need all that. So, because I liked the scene with Damon and Rhaenyra. I liked the scene with obviously Caraxy, Cyrax. Damon had good scenes. I liked seeing Simon be a little sneaky, and we find out it's because he's Simon the Loyal. I enjoyed the interaction with like Corliss and Alan, and knowing that like is as repulsive as Ulf is, it also showed off how great Adam and Hugh are.
Mhm.
So there was a lot that I did like. So if the vision and all that wasn't in there, and then the scene with Alicent and Rhaenyra that just went on way too damn long,
Yes.
I'm gonna give it 5 scales out of 10 because
That's,
there was decent parts. There was.
that's not that bad. That's not that
No,
bad.
no, I liked the way they made it very clear that Aemon's a psycho. I like that Laris has been planning to leave. Just it's like he thought, shit would hit the fan, which it did. And Aegon saying he's the realm's delight. Look, there were things in it that I thought were funny and interesting. So yeah, I feel strong giving it a 5. It could have been a lot better if they just would have left Game of Thrones be. Just leave it
It
be.
doesn't need to be
So
connected at all.
no, and considering the rating that it got, there is a good chance that HBO will tell them stop.
Yep.
It didn't work. So let's just hope for that.
Yes.
So in that case, I'm glad it was rated low because they don't want another show that's doing well to just flop. So maybe this will be, and we've got 2 years, so maybe this will be HBO saying, "Hey, I know you thought you were doing something, but don't." So let's just hope for that.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to 2 parts of this. It was a finale, so I think having it in 2 parts was the right thing to do because that's a
Yeah.
lot. And do you want to tell them what they have to look forward to? The next show that we'll be talking about?
The next show that we will be talking about is The Rings of Power, season 2.
Yes. And we're
And we're
very,
excited.
very, yes,
We're
yes.
both excited.
We're both very excited. It's it's a great story. And from what I can tell, I liked season 1. I think season 2 is going to just knock it out of the park because they had a bigger budget and the few things that people complained about season 1, it looks like they really listened, and season 2 is going to give exactly what people want from Tolkien's work. So I'm really happy about that.
Yes, I am too. I'm excited. It looks beautiful. I really enjoyed season 1. I mean, I'm still watching it. I'm not 100% finished yet, but I'm enjoying it a lot. And I guess I get what people are saying, but at the same time, I like it. So that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, I like it too. It's kind of like I told you, like if Tolkien's your number one, like we have our number ones,
Yes.
sometimes change is kind of hard to accept. That's why I'm glad we're doing this is because we're going into a show where we don't know every single tiny detail. So I think that's going to be really fun because we'll get to dig around into something new. So I think that's going to be great for both of us.
Oh, 100%.
And it's fantasy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be really good. So thank you guys for listening.
Thank
And no,
you.
we're not going anywhere. We're just going to talk about elves.
Yes.
So.
Hey, this is Andrea.
And this is Amanda.
And you just listened to
Girls Nerd Out.